It's not because of his link to the Confederacy, but because of his link to the Masons, from what we understand about the history of this. That statue's been there since 1901, but now it has been toppled tonight. Shamar, are you thinking about whether this crowd has any plans to do anything else tonight?
I don't know about anything else. Right now, the focus is on the Albert Pike statue. Let me get through for a second. Excuse me, brother. Let me get through here. Thanks, guys. You can see right now, you can see it burning right here. This is the face of Albert Pike. You can see that they put lighter fluid on it. We see some firecrackers as well. And this was, for them, they say successful, because their goal was to take down this Confederate officer, and they did just that. Many of them have Black Lives Matter flags, and they say that this is what needs to happen across the country, that these Confederate monuments, these buildings, these streets need to be removed, they say, and this is the viewpoint of the folks out here. They want to remove the Confederacy because they say enough is enough. Back to you.
That's very interesting. Okay, Shamari, again, stay safe. Once again, this area here, folks who are watching, if you're familiar with the downtown area, this is 3rd and D Street, the Judiciary Square there, where, as Shamari mentioned, not just a few yards away from the Metro Police Department headquarters there. And obviously, Shamari, police are not expecting or do not anticipate there to be any real violence if they're not swarming the scene, or if they're not closing or getting any closer. They must not have any sense that this is going to erupt in any sort of violence.
Leon, did you just ask me something?
Actually, that's Shamari. We understand. We'll let you get. We're probably losing our connection there. But again, as we're seeing here, there's no real violence here except to that statue. And apparently, the police do not anticipate this is going to turn into something violent. If they are maintaining that perimeter that they've got, they're not coming into the scene, even though they're now seeing flames breaking out there on the grounds. So as they watch the scene, we will continue to do the same thing here. And Shamari, if you can get some kind of reaction from the people there to give us a sense of what they feel about what's going on right now and what they're going to be doing next, we'd love to hear from you as soon as you get some new information on that. So in the meantime, be safe out there. You and Brooks both be careful. And again, as we can tell now, it seems as though the energy there at the scene is now starting to calm down and get a bit more peaceful. Shamari, so what is the plan now for covering this for the rest of the evening? Are you guys going to stay there and watch what happens here?
Well, the thing is, we're here to work at New. We're here as long to make sure viewers get the story. You can see folks now are leaving, and I want to make sure that you understand that this was, although pulled down, some describe it as vandalism. These people were peaceful, determined to, and we captured it on live television, it falling, toppling police headquarters. Now, what's interesting is that some people didn't even know that the Albert Pike Confederate statue was here, a tribute to him. Well, you can see on Juneteenth, it's no longer a tribute. He's on the ground, he's burning, and the face of this statue that represents the Confederacy, that represents slavery, that represents oppression against Black people in America from the 1800s, is now on the ground burning. A historic moment in D.C., and we're here to bring it to you. And Shamari Stone, back to you, Leon.
Thank you, Shamari. I can understand why those protesters would not understand the meaning of that statue or why it's there. I was watching the press conference with Mayor Muriel Bowser just earlier this morning, earlier this afternoon, I should say, where she was asked if there were any Confederate statues or any other Confederate symbols here in town that she would like to see removed, and she said she couldn't think of any off the top of her head. Many people not realizing this statue that has been there at that square and at that corner there since 1901 was that of a Confederate figure. That's not something that was widely known or advertised. As we said, it was basically seen as a symbol of the Freemasons. But now, tonight, it is now taken apart here and taken a role in this national protest of these Confederate symbols that we're seeing taken down off of pedestals and buildings and out of squares and parks all across the country. And we're now seeing the same thing happening right here in the District of Columbia, something that we have not seen up until tonight. And Shamari Stone there to witness that historic moment just moments ago. And Shamari, again, it appears that this crowd, they accomplished what they set out to do. They've taken down this statue, and Now things have calmed down dramatically.
Leon, I have to interrupt you.
What do you say now?
Leon, I have to interrupt you. We're the first to show you that DC police officers are here. They have a fire. They are going to put it out right now, as close to the safe distance. And you can see them putting out the fire here of the Albert Pike statue. This officer here, no clashes between the protesters or the police. This was a peaceful mission accomplished, according to some of the folks out here. And you can see the police officers peacefully walking away as they did their job. Their job was to put out this flame that you saw, and they are walking away in silence. And you can see them, Leon. You asked about that. We're bringing it to you close.
There you go. And again, to underscore the point you were making earlier about this not necessarily being a demonstration, a violent demonstration or some sort of outbreak of violence, the statue was the only thing targeted. We know that there are those out there who may use these images or the image of that statue on fire and sort of imply that the city of D.C. was in flames tonight, was ablaze, but that was not what we saw here tonight, right?
Yeah, that is correct. And, you know, some people try to take things like this and use it for their political advantage, particularly with the election coming up in November and President Trump speaking tomorrow in Tulsa with his rally. That was not the case. We want to make sure that this history was properly documented, that these folks had a mission to come here and take down this statue. This was not part of the rally that you saw, the peaceful marches down from the White House to Freedom Plaza, from the White House to 14th and U. Keep in mind, there were 30 demonstrations in the District of Columbia today. I want to make sure this is said. Not one arrest, not one incident. It was peaceful. And some argue that this also was peaceful. They took down the statue, lit it on fire. Police came here, put it out. Protesters are gone. Police are gone. And this statue is now on the ground.
All right. Well, the big questions now, Shamari, which are impossible to answer at this point, are what comes next? Should we expect to see anyone from the mayor's office or from the council to show up and make some comments about what we've seen here today? And what do these demonstrators now want to do next? What do they want? What do they want this to mean? What sort of a symbol? What sort of statement is this supposed to make? I know this is impossible for you to ask or for you to answer at this particular point, but we're still just going to have to sit here and watch and wait and see and hear and listen for what is going to be coming next. Right now, is the crowd still there, or have they dissipated? Can you tell what direction they may have gone off into?
Well, they left this area. The crowd is gone. There's like maybe a few people who are coming here now, taking selfies and snapping pictures. Many of them say that this was history that they witnessed tonight. But I do want to make sure that you understand that this is not the only one, that people say that there are other statues in the District of Columbia, such as the statue that there is Abraham Lincoln with a freed slave at the Lincoln Park. And people say that that slave looks subservient, not equal to Lincoln. And what's interesting is that slaves took their own money to pay for that statue at Lincoln Park. And now some of the protesters are telling me that that statue is also part of just the degradation, the disrespect for African Americans. And right now there is a group trying to preserve that statue so that they can remove that slave that's on its knees with shackles attached to Abraham Lincoln and make the freed slave stand up so he's on the equal footing of Abraham Lincoln. And that's coincidentally what people out here want. They want some type of unity and respect, they say, nationwide for African Americans. Keep in mind, this is coming off of the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Rashard Brooks, Ahmaud Arbery, Philando Castile, Walter Scott, and countless other African Americans that they say were needlessly killed. And right now, let me move out of the way again. You can see the statue here. Now, we don't know if officials are going to come here and put the statue back up. We don't know if this statue is going to go into a museum. We don't know if it's going to be put in a closet somewhere. But one thing is clear, it is down, and they left their ropes. You see this right here? These were the ropes that they used to pull this statue. And it was interesting. One woman said they're not going to be able to do it, but they kept pulling, and they were determined, and they accomplished their goal of pulling down this Confederate statue.
Shamari, any idea? Any idea when this effort to take this statue got underway? When did it start tonight? How long did it take them to pull this off tonight?
Well, this was a plan. We were out there reporting in the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, even up until 11 o'clock with our story, and we didn't hear anything about this. There were little rumblings on social media, but when you arrived, you actually saw this come down, and photographer Brooks Merriweather was shooting at this with the camera right when it fell down, and we came over here to bring it to our viewers moments later. They took lighter fluid, some firecrackers, fireworks, and then lit it on fire, spray painted his face. And what's interesting, I just noticed this, on the top of his head, it says BLM, Black Lives Matter.
Interesting.
Back to you, Leon.
Shamar, you described that scene. We now have it on video so people can actually see and hear it for themselves. Let's play it now.
Excuse me? Well, thank you. I'm happy to bring you the news.
Well,
Hold on, I've got to finish on TV, okay? I'll talk to you in a second.
Right, Shamar.
Thanks a lot for the respect.
Shamar,
so this is it, you guys, right here. Go ahead.
We actually, you described what it was like to see that statue come down and the eruption there of emotion before the flames. And we do have that here now. We've got to record it. I want to see if we can play that back now so people at home can see and hear it for themselves. Well, we're still working on trying to get that back. Stand by there, Shamari. We definitely want to replay that because it was dramatic. I know we could tell that your adrenaline got pumping very high once we saw that statue begin to move and start to rock back and forth. And it became more and more apparent that it definitely was going to go down. We had no idea how long that process would take. But you were there to sit there and watch that happen. It had to be. Just tell us what you were feeling at that moment when you saw it happen, because we saw and heard your reaction on camera. Actually, Shamar, before you do that, you give us your take after we replay the video right now for people to listen to see and listen to for themselves, and then on the other side, you tell us what you were thinking and feeling. Let's play it right now.
You can see it right now. It is falling.
Shamar, we're watching you. I know you can't see the video. We're watching you running through the smoke there, making your way through the crowd, pulling Brooks with his camera through as well to make sure you can get a shot of it, of the statue moments after it hit the ground there. What was going through your mind at that time? What were you feeling?
Well, as a journalist, I'm not going to explain my feelings and how I felt about it, but I will let you know that when the protesters were on each side, one was pulling from this side of the statue, one was on the sidewalk pulling, it wasn't working. Now, I'm not didn't do too good in physics when I was growing up, but one thing is clear, that when they came across on this side and all of them were pulling with this rope right here, then they were able to rock it and it came crashing down.
Well, and fortunately, no one was hurt in the process. And as you can see there on the top of the head there of Albert Pike are the three letters BLM, the three letters that are on the minds and lips of so many across the country tonight and for the last few months there. Black Lives Matter. That statement being made loud and clear tonight down at Judiciary Square in the district, as we just saw this statue being toppled off of that pedestal where it has stood since 1901. It's been quite a night there in the district downtown there, and we of course have so many questions about what is going to happen next, whether or not we're going to be seeing any other police action here, or whether there's going to be some sort of statement or any activity or action by the council or by the mayor's office. And of course, that's something we're going to have for you folks that as we work this story overnight. Of course, we'll keep you updated through the NBC Washington app and also on News 4 Today in the morning, starting here at 4 a.m. But this has been quite a night in the district there. As we can see, the crowd now having dissipated. Now it appears it's just Shamar and the camera with Brooks Merriweather there, and not too many others there watching this statue that has been completely defaced. As you can see, as we saw the spray paint, and now you can see it is